right, we are live. So, well, good evening, everybody. Ken Johnson and
Cameron.
Weatherman Cam Lindsay is here with you here on this brutally. Cam, how would you come closer here? How would you describe this weather that we're having outside here tonight, Cameron?
I actually came with a really good comparison while I was out there.
Mm-hmm.
I had one hand with a glove, one hand not with a glove, okay? And we were out there for maybe 15 minutes, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We got back in the car where you had the heat and everything. The best way to describe it, Ken, is if you took the hand that was exposed, basically take it, slam it in a door, and that's what it feels like. It hurts.
Oh man, that's brutal.
It feels like you got your hand slammed in the door with how cold it is.
That's brutal. Could you imagine though if your hands are that cold and you actually slammed it in the door, how bad that would feel?
I don't know if you'd feel it. It's that cold.
Oh yeah, it's awful outside. In this kind of weather, you're from a cold climate. You grew up in a cold climate. So how do you compare this cold blast? Because I would say that this is probably the coldest weather that you've experienced since you've been here in Texas, right?
Yeah.
How would you compare it to cold blasts in the north where you're from?
Windier. So it cuts harder.
Yes.
It cuts deeper.
So when Cameron first got here, y'all, I told him, I was like, he was talking about being from north, how he likes the cold weather. I was like, cold weather here's different. I'm telling you, that wind's going to blow and it's going to eat right through whatever clothes that you have on.
Yep.
And it's going to be miserable. He said, I don't know about that, blah, 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 blah. Well, he's experienced it now. Now he knows what it's like. And I'm glad we don't get cold weather like this very often. Last time we had a cold snap like this was 2021. Of course, that was a 10+ day period of sub-freezing temperatures. We won't be that cold this long, but it's going to be pretty cold for at least a couple of days, Cameron.
Yeah, it's rough out there, man. Because one thing, we had to stand out there, be ready for our live shot in the 5 and 6,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to turn my back to the away from the north. While we were waiting out there, I was just looking south to keep the wind off my face because that wind is harsh. It is unforgiving.
Yes, it is. So you're out there, and you said you actually got to experience lake effect snow.
Oh,
Tell me about that.
It was so cool because I never in my life. You told me it would be possible. I never in my life thought I'd come to Texas and see lake effect snow, but I did just that today because we got to Lake Wichita,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of simmered down now. I think just because the lake is cooling now.
Mm-hmm.
But when we got there around 4:30, it looked like a sauna with how much steam was coming off the lake. So what's happening is you got that Arctic air flowing over the lake. And what's happening is you have that sharp temperature difference where the lake is much warmer than the air.
Mm-hmm.
So it creates, rising motion off the lake. And on the south side, I went to check after the 5 o'clock newscast.
Mm-hmm.
We got to around Archer County, the northern part of Archer County, just
Mm-hmm.
south of the lake. And the fetch, because, something I had to look at was where was the flow of the wind going over the lake, kind of calculate where the snow was going. And sure enough, there were some pretty decently sized snowflakes. I mean, it was a sharp cutoff. It would, we have snowflakes all over the place right now, but
Mm-hmm.
these were bigger flakes. Visibility dropped a lot, and it was just really crazy and cool to see.
All right. Well, we got people asking about road conditions, and Cameron, what are the roads out there like right now?
The roads themselves are not bad. Okay. Bridges, when I drove over the bridge near the Wichita Spillway.
Yeah. That's I think it's Holiday Creek. Yeah.
Little slick. It wasn't bad, but it had a couple of slick spots. But there are some damp spots in the road. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure right now we are below freezing, so those will be freezing here soon, if not already. So there's going to be some slick spots, but I don't think it's a major concern because the roads today haven't been all that bad. But again, maybe we're not getting rain or anything, so it's just snow sitting on the ground.
Thanks a lot, Kerry. I appreciate it. Well, Cameron, I'm gonna do something different now, and I'm about to change.
Thanks a lot, Kerry. I appreciate it. Well, Cameron, I'm gonna do something different now, and I'm about to.
I'm going to take the microphone off of here, and I'm going to walk over to the wall and talk. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what's going on weather-wise. So I'm going to try to take this full screen.
I'm going to talk a little bit about what's going on weather-wise. So I'm going to try to take this full screen. All right, so here we go. All right, so I'm going to walk over here to the wall. And once again, we are looking at the radar here this evening. And on the radar here, speaking of which, I need this is a little bit big on me here. But anyway, we are looking at the radar here this evening. And I got the enhancements turned up here because what we're seeing, as Cameron was saying earlier, is very light in most cases here. Very light little fine particles in the atmosphere. And in a lot of instances, the snowflakes are falling from a low altitude. In other words, here, the moisture of the condensation level from where they're developing is in a lower part of the atmosphere. So a couple things. Number one, the radar has a harder time seeing it, and oftentimes the radar beam shoots above it. So if you kind of take a look, there's these little bands, streaks, if you will, here on the radar this evening. And I can zoom in a little bit closer here, I think. Let me go over here and check out. Something's not quite correct with my graphics here. So give me just a second here. And uh-oh, my monitor went down, Cameron. Okay, here we go here. So where's my mic? Oh, there we go. All right, there we go. Let's see here. All right, now I think I got that fixed here. Let's see if we can get this to play on through. I don't know what's going on with it, Cameron. Yeah, it's being goofy here. Let's go back here a little bit. So, all right, here we go. So here we go. All right, so we got the radar on here. You can always change it for me here. So we got the radar on here, and we got these little fingers or little bands. These are little snow showers, and these could be anywhere. The only reason you're seeing these over here in Wichita and parts of Wilbarger County, of course, this would be the wind farm over here, is because the radar is able to see these. It's shooting at a lower angle here, so it's able to see these. But there's more of these being seen throughout the area as well. And of course, earlier Cameron was here. You could almost see a little dot there. I wonder if that's that lake effect snow there, because you can kind of see a little dot on the other side here. Of course, you wouldn't see it over from Lake Arrowhead because, again, this is snow falling from a lower altitude, so the beam would be shooting over it here. I don't think you would see that here, but I would think, Cameron, that if you are on the south side or just south of any of these lakes, you might even see a little bit of an enhancement of snow here this evening. I've seen some of this across Wichita Falls, but you know the thing about it is that the snow, it's falling. It's very cold outside, and when the temperatures are as cold as they are right now, your snow ratios are higher. It means it doesn't take as much to produce more snow, but it's also a real dry, powdery snow. It's not like if it's wet and it packs and then it freezes on the road here. This is powder, and the wind's blowing, and it blows it all the way around. It blows it all over the place here. So it's just not really accumulating on the roads. But as Cameron was saying a few moments ago, it's best just to take it easy if you're going to be driving. Don't drive if you don't have to. Just don't get out. It's just too cold. Stay inside if you can. Stay inside next to that fireplace, or stay inside next to whatever it is you're using to stay warm. But that's what we need to do here if you can. Cameron, my graphic needs to be changed. For whatever reason, this isn't working. So if you could change just move over to the next graphic here, if you will. But as I was saying a moment ago, and again with Cameron a minute ago here, we're talking about a situation where. Oh, I bet that's what it was. My bad. All right, so I'm going to back up here, and again, there's your radar once again here. So that's exactly. Thanks for reminding me, Cameron. We have different computers here in the Weather Center, and we had to switch them a few weeks ago. We switched them back, and I just forgot. So anyway, all right. So let's talk about wind chills. All right. So what the wind chill, or I call it the real feel, is. This is just what your body, how it really feels to your body out there. It's just kind of like in the summertime when we deal with heat and humidity. That's how it feels when you walk outside. That's your real feel, your heat index. The same is true, except you throw wind into the equation instead of humidity, along with the temperatures here in the winter. So if we look at this is now, and if we kind of follow my timeline, here we are at midnight tonight. Now this might be a little bit low, but this is showing a temperature of about 5 with a wind out of the north here at about 20, and that produces a real feel of about -15. Now, I mean, it's possible that some areas could be in this range here. So let's kind of look at this, and it would be the same between then and 7 a.m. So 7 a.m. in the morning, the temperature, real feel, somewhere about -10 to -15 in some areas. Other areas about -5 to let's just say -5 to -15. Think back 2021 is how cold it feels. We're probably going to see some of these smaller bodies of water also freeze up. Cameron, did you see any ice on the Lake Wichita?
Not on the lake, no. The lake was moving pretty well.
Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty windy out there, plus the water temperatures are pretty warm, but I would expect some ice to build up on that in the next couple of days here. So if we look, though, throughout the day tomorrow, it's going to slowly improve, but it's going to take it a while to do so. So if we look, this is temperatures and real field temperatures as of right now. Again, temperature would be what it actually is. And when you look at a temperature, that deals more with more like water. So the temperature has more of has the impact on water with freezing levels versus non-freezing level. The real feel has more of an impact on your body and how it feels outside. And these are definitely real feel temperatures that could certainly help induce hypothermia and frostbite quickly here. We don't talk about that very often in our part of the world. But if you look here, 6 o'clock temperature in Altus is at 9. It feels like minus 12. 11 feels like minus 10 in Lawton here. 14 feels like minus 3 in the Falls. We've been stuck at 14 now for a couple of hours. So when you get these big surges of Arctic air, you usually initially see the temperatures take a nosedive quick. And then you think, oh, it's going to be, if it's this cold now, just imagine how much colder it's going to be after it gets dark. That's not always the case here. You've got wind and you've got clouds here. You're not dealing with radiational cooling here. You're dealing with what's called cold air advection. And usually you see the biggest drop with cold air advection come in the first 5 to 10 hours here. And then it kind of plateaus out and kind of slows down a bit. We can update the temperature. We're down to 13, but you're not seeing the fast falling temperatures like you did earlier in the day here. Feels like minus 6 now outside in the Falls. Down to 15, feels like 1 in Graham. And even over here in the east, even though it's showing temperatures a little bit warmer, this is model-derived temperature since there aren't really any reporting stations over here. So these are probably a little bit colder than what this is showing at this point in time. So if we take a look at frigid conditions tonight, real feel below 0. That's already the case. It stays that way all night, but it could be down as low as minus 15, as we were talking about a moment ago. The actual temperatures by morning, I'm going to say on average across the area between about 3 and 6. Now, some areas might be a little bit above that, while some areas might be a little below that. Now, on Wednesday afternoon, we see temperatures themselves climb to 20 to 25, but there remains a wind out of the north, so your real field temperature is single digits and teens tomorrow throughout the afternoon. The good news is by the weekend, things are going to turn around. But again, there we go. We're talking about those temperatures, real field temperatures here. It looks like we're going to be below freezing through Friday morning. And that would put us at about 72 hours consecutive below freezing here. I would expect it probably to run higher than that because this is going from a time period from 8 a.m. this morning to 8 a.m. Friday. And I would think that temperatures wouldn't get above freezing until maybe a late morning or early afternoon. So you're probably looking at closer to about 77, 78 hours below freezing here. Of course, that is what produces pipe bursting weather. People always talk about, oh, it's going to be freezing tonight. We're talking about back over in November, early December. Temperature is going to drop below freezing tonight. Got to drip the faucets. No, that is not correct. Pipe bursting weather takes place when you have a situation where the temperature drops below freezing and stays below freezing for at least 48 hours, 36 to 48 hours. And during that time, you've got to you need it to be really cold at night. I mean, I'm talking about like what we're seeing now here. So this is pipe bursting weather, and when we thaw out on Friday, I'm afraid there's going to be some busted pipes around the area. So you should have already have wrapped your pipes. It's too late if you haven't done that by now here. I mean, of course, I guess you could run out and do it real fast. I got those things you buy at your local hardware store. It's just a little box, styrofoam box looking thing, and it's got this rubber little a ring around it. You attach it to your faucet head, and you pull it, and it just tightens up, and it's really nice. But here's what you should do now. You should drip your faucets. They don't have to be like a steady stream, just a little drip, room temperature. Open the cabinets. Let the warm air from your house, you're running that heat, let the warm air from your house, let it try to keep those pipes that'll help keep those pipes from freezing here. Pets, they should already be inside. They don't need to be outside. My dogs, they went outside this morning, right back in. They don't want to be out there. Also, you should avoid exposure to the wind here. It don't take long to get hypothermia and frostbite with this type of weather here, so just stay out of it. If you have to get out in it, just dress in layers. Cameron Lindsay said this best, layers, layers, layers. And, believe it or not, you also associate dehydration with hot temperatures in the summertime, but this type of weather, cold like this, can also produce hypothermia. High dehydration, because your body has to work more, has to work harder to stay warm. So drink plenty of fluids, and make sure you check on the elderly. Make sure they're staying warm. Make sure that they really do here. So I want to go and show one more graphic real fast here, Cameron, before we go back to trying to answer a couple of questions here. Let me see if I have it loaded in here. I may have it loaded in here. I'm going to go back up here to this here. But I do want to talk about the frigid air tracking weather patterns and fronts. There it is between Wednesday and Thursday. It's just right on top of us. The polar vortex, of course, has been active, and it's sending this shot down our way here. But it's not going to stick around too much longer, and that's the good news. We're still cold Friday, but it's beginning to lose its grips. The air is modifying, it's shifting off to the east here, and by the weekend, cold air should be out of here, and by this time next week, we could be back into the 70s here. I don't know that we're done with the cold weather. We can see cold weather even in the month of March here, but you know, oftentimes it starts to it gets further and further apart, and they're not quite as cold with each system that moves on through as you get into March. Not too far away from spring, so let's keep our fingers crossed on that here. All right, I'm going to come back over here for you.
This isn't muted, is it? No.
Mm.
You don't have any audio right now. Now you do on that. No.
Yeah, I got audio on
No,
this.
no, you don't.
How do you know?
Look at your audio levels.
Oh, I don't have any, do I?
Yeah,
Yeah, there
you
it
do.
is. There it is.
Yeah, you do.
Okay. Well, guys, I don't know what was happening there. I'm trying some different things around, so that's probably what it was. So I'll just keep this up, and now you guys should be able to hear me. I'm not sure why I lost the audio on the other there, but we'll just leave this up, and that way you guys can kind of hear what I have to say here. So somebody asked about should the WFISD should cancel school tomorrow, and my answer to that question is, well, I mean, I don't necessarily think that they have to, but you know, I would think that you know, I wouldn't be opposed to any school canceling because of the fact that it's just going to be so cold over the next 24 to 36 hours. I wouldn't be opposed to it at all. Of course, when they called me, they asked me about roads and road conditions. Road conditions won't be too bad. I think that you can probably drive on them. But I would suggest though that making sure that you know, you just stay as warm as you possibly can. I think that they're delayed for tomorrow morning here, but again, with temperatures this cold, I wouldn't be opposed to seeing them you know, cancel altogether. But I don't think that that's going to be the case. But at least but I'm not the one that makes that call officially. So that's what we got from that. Of course, you know, just stay tuned to the news tonight and the news in the morning on KUZ. News Channel 6, and also remember our website, newschannel6now.com. We're posting those on there, and also the News Channel 6 app. You can also get those on there as well. I don't know, Cameron, do we post school closings and delays on the First Alert 6 weather app? I don't think we do we?
No, it's on the News Channel 6 app.
Okay, yeah.
They also send push notifications for those.
Yeah. So I think that's all you have. But again, cold weather tonight, brutally cold weather into probably, I'd say, early Thursday, maybe even Friday here. But then the weekend does look better, and of course, those are the current real field temperatures across the area here. So yeah, it's terrible. It's not fun at all. So, all right, well, that's all I've got for right now, guys. I will do another update here a little bit later on this evening, so be looking for that. In the meantime, please, everybody, stay warm. And I'd like to thank Service